7 o'clock on Thursday, May 30th, 2019. I'd like to make a note that we have the town administrator present, 2 select board, Bob Martell and Dave Knoll present, and Mike Kaminsky is absent today. We have the road agent in the crowd, I see. And Leo Martell will be taping the minutes for the general public. Bob, I'd like to go over some old business with the approval of
Okay,
the meeting minutes.
okay, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the regular minutes of the May 16, 2019 meeting as amended.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Kind of redundant, but all in favor.
Aye.
Aye. I'll get the other one in a second here.
Okay. We'll have to have Jennifer sign them when she gets there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to approve the 8:05 non-public meeting minutes of May 16th, 2019. I can't remember, there was one of them that wasn't amended.
Neither.
Those were, you
that I-
weren't, right?
No, the non-publics were not.
Okay,
amended.
so,
And the time on that one, Bob?
that's the 8:05.
8:05, okay. I'll second Bob's motion. All in favor?
Aye. And then
Wanna do this one first, Bob?
what's that?
I wanna sign this one.
Oh, okay. You can approve them, then we'll sign them all. I'll make a motion to approve the 8:14 non-public meeting minutes for May 16, 2019.
I'll second Bob's motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, for people that aren't on the agenda tonight, I'd like to open up for public comment. Leo, would you like to start?
No, sir, thanks.
Kind of public comment, Fred and I are here for the town forest,
Jeff, could you just state your name for the,
Jeff Crosby, and
Fred Mullin.
yeah,
we're here as town forest representatives.
okay.
Something just came to light in the last couple days, and we wanted to talk to you people about it.
Okay,
And Fred, I was on the phone with Fred, and we realized you had the meeting tonight, so we wanted to come up and talk to you, because we wouldn't meet for a couple more weeks. You want me to explain it?
Go ahead, yeah.
It's all to do with the solar panel construction.
okay,
I guess they gotta cut some trees up there.
yeah,
And to take this a step further, they had come to us before as a town forest and wanted to know about, putting this whole system in up there.
Right.
And we told them, yeah, we, conceptually had no problem with it, whatever, and they were gonna let us know when they decided where they were gonna put it and all that. Well, I guess they wanna cut the trees and they wanted to get permission from us. However, we don't meet for another, August is our next meeting. We
Okay.
meet 4 times a year. So we would have to call a special meeting to meet, which we don't mind doing. All of us are all in favor of doing it, so we can get the ball rolling. And we thought, we didn't know if the select board wanted to be in on it, because at the end of the day, the town may end up owning this on the location and what had to be done and all that.
yeah, I guess we'd like to be part of the meeting, and we'll have Lean notice it so we can all show up.
Yeah,
at
cause
it.
we, Fred and I were talking about it, we thought it had to be officially noticed, so we gotta kinda pick a date.
24 hours.
Oh, only 24?
Yeah, for this type
Oh.
of meeting.
That's good, cause we didn't know, that's why we, for sure, what meeting this fell under. And we were planning, speak up if you got any.
You doing fine, good.
Meeting up at the site.
Okay, we can put
With
it
all-
there, so a special meeting at the transfer station.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, in fact, when they came to us, Jeff, they talked about, some fairly small trees and some small brush.
Oh, yeah, no, we,
Didn't seem substantial to us when they,
no, and we don't know what it is, I guess they're supposed to mark it out. I don't know if they're going through Woody, and he didn't know if he'd have a chance to mark them out this week, cause we got all this in emails.
yeah,
And we haven't actually talked to him, I haven't anyway.
No, the last I heard that, Woody, because he runs the transfer station, wanted them to mark it out, what trees they want. And and wide and so forth. But, just talking to Jeff tonight on the phone, I said it shouldn't be our responsibility to hire a logger or anything, because we got nothing to do with this project.
I think because you guys were the town forest, they were hoping that you would help them with somebody to, mark them trees out, cut them, but if
Well,
that's
they
your
should-
stance, I think that, you're right, it's their project, I think they should take that.
And in fact, if it is only brushy stuff,
Right,
if they went to a site to put that up and clearing was involved, they'd either have to do it or
right.
the homeowner would be responsible. I don't know how the contract works. But nonetheless, we
Yeah.
thought you people might wanna be involved, just so we know where it is, everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We're not trying to stymie the project, we just thought we ought to find out for sure.
Do you have a date in mind, or you wanna
Uh,
communicate that?
well, we haven't contacted the other members to say, oh, is this day okay, is that day okay,
Yeah,
or,
okay.
you know?
You probably
Try
should
it.
have Dana Lavoy there as well.
Yes,
Yes, I would think
I
a
mean,
representative from them would be key.
Yeah,
So-
you would-
As a recommendation, the transfer station's open on Wednesday nights. The gate would be open, everyone would have access. Do you want to check with your other members, see if
That'd be
next
fine with me,
Wednesday?
fine with you, okay.
As long
As
as
two of us is all
I
saying,
can make
okay.
it work.
and it would probably work for Woody too, cause,
Yeah,
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 you'd be
you'll
right
be
there.
there, yeah.
Yeah,
right, so that should be three, so the only other two is talk to Ron, I couldn't get a hold of him tonight.
And, your
Right.
nephew,
Brian.
Brian, yeah.
And I know this isn't on the agenda, but since I got two people from the town forest committee here, we had talked a couple of times about doing a purchase of a replacement maple tree on the other side of the town hall there. Is that anything we could, have you guys look at one of your meetings coming up?
Sure,
Maybe we could do it in the late fall, probably a better time
yeah, yeah.
to plant it.
Yeah.
Okay. I seen this one's having a little bit of trouble out
Yeah, it
there.
acts like it's a little stressed,
Yeah,
must be all the dogs that pee on it. Yeah.
something's going on with it, but. Okay, yeah, just figured I'd give you a heads up on that again, but no, I think that's good, and I think if we all meet,
So,
we'll get that cleaned up.
we wanna try for next Wednesday, is that too soon, not soon enough?
I think they're hoping to get this project going by mid-July, so we don't have much time for
Yeah.
them to get
I know.
everything really.
That's why we wanted to come up tonight and talk to you guys.
I'm available to meet Wednesday.
It doesn't make any difference to me when,
And go for next Wednesday?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think, I'm pretty confident we could just tell the other guys, and if they can make it, fine, if not. and
Cause you'll
maybe-
have a quorum if you have the three of you there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
And I
So-
think if they can, they'll make it.
Tentative, we'll call and set up for
so no
Wednesday.
falls in the cracks, is Lean making the public notice?
I will.
Yes, she will make it
I
for
will,
us.
yeah.
What time would you guys like to meet there? 6
What, what's time is good for you guys, because you're still working, Dan, Dave.
6 o'clock before it starts to get dark, or
Yeah, 6 is fine.
6 PM, work
Yeah,
for you
yeah,
guys?
no, that's perfect.
What's that date, Lean?
That will be the June
5th.
6 PM.
June 5th, huh?
Alrighty,
Holy smokes, that's. Wow.
Okay. Any other public comments?
No,
Nothing, okay. All right, that being said, I'll bring it back to the board. Bob, can I hear a motion on this, amount of money here
Oh,
from
for
the
the,
auctioneer?
Okay, per RSA 31, a motion per RSA 31.95-B, Roman numeral 3, B, to accept, and that's the miscellaneous inventory from the police department,
Yeah.
$306, and that's the unencumbered funds, right?
correct.
Okay, just to make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about is, we had some miscellaneous inventory that the police department had, they brought it up to the state auctioneer, St. Jean's, and we have here a check for $306 even. And, I'll second Bob's motion to accept that.
And
And, all in favor?
I know, it sounds redundant, but aye. Nothing to sign for anyway, right?
No, we
No.
already signed it.
Thank you.
Okay, That being done, we have the next item on the agenda is David and Mrs. Carol Crooker. Request a meeting with the Board of Selectmen to discuss upgrading a section of Guinea Road to receive a building permit on lot E4-2-05 to build a residential home. And that's you people here, I guess.
It is.
Okay. So, I think that, to bring the public up to grade, we had some discussion earlier about, building on that lot. And we found out that the section of land that you wanna build on, the road is class 6. And the town does have a policy in place that once you're beyond the 300 feet from a class 5 road, that there have to be some upgrading of the road. So we sent a copy of that policy to you people, I think, right?
Did Donna give you that when you came in? She was asked to give you the policy, no, I'll have to go over it with her.
I thought after our meeting it was supposed to be mailed to them.
Yep, and that was the direction to Donna to have her mail out.
And they never got a
Letter.
copy of it?
No, we were in Manchester yesterday, and there was no mail.
Well, that's not nice to hear, cause we acted on that quite a while back.
Yeah.
So I was hoping you had received a copy of that. Do we have a copy of that policy here tonight that we can?
I do, but my question for you is,
I'll follow up on the rest of the issues with them, but
they would have to fall under this one, which is, private.
yeah, but I just wanted to give them the policy that we have.
This is the policy, I have an extra copy right
Yeah,
here.
that's the one right there.
Okay, and this has been signed by our Board of Selectmen, and it references the RSA, and it basically says on page 3, the board will not grant an application for a permit to erect any building on Class 6 road unless the proposed driveway access to the Class 6 highway is 300 feet or less from a Class 5 or better highway. So, I think you spoke to Donna briefly in the building department, and she explained that, didn't she explain that to you, that there was,
A number of things, yes.
okay, so what you wanted to come in, well, they approached me at the town
Okay.
office and basically asked, what do they have to do to get a building permit on there?
Okay, first of all, let's get them a copy of that right
Yeah.
now, so they have something to read.
This is something for you to take home and read.
I wanted to make sure you had it in writing so you could have time to read it and go through it.
Yeah, we don't know.
Now, the other thing, there have been some buildings prior to this on class 6 roads past 300 feet. I believe that policy was made up to try and curtail some of that. If you look at some of the other roads in towns, there are homes that have been allowed to be built past the 300 feet. They've signed waivers releasing the town of liability on those roads as far as maintenance, use, emergencies. And that changes homeowners insurance once you sign those waivers, because you have to let them know about it.
Sure it does.
So, there is another section there that we have had other people sign in the past. But what we haven't done yet is we've never done one past the 300 feet, I don't believe, since that policy has been in place. So what we'd like to do is find out whether you're looking for the town to maintain the road or you to maintain the road. And then we need to check with our town attorney on how we're gonna approach this and see what's required. Now, some of the things that could be required is you upgrading that section of road up till, you know, you're gonna access your lot. And so,
Up to our driveway then.
yeah,
Where's
and,
it gonna be?
and to give you an example, like we had done one down there, we had to update the roadway, at least whatever the frontage is on that road up to there. So like, if you're in a low density or in a medium density, it might be 250 feet past your lot line, and some might be 300 if you're in a low density area. So it's not always just up to your lot line, sometimes it's a little further because the town has to have room to turn around and everything else there, so. There's a lot of things that are considered in that, so it's, so that's what we're looking for now. If you can give us any feedback to look to see if you're gonna maintain the road, so we'll know where to send our town attorney with direction and looking at the policies.
My intention was to upgrade the road
Yeah,
so that it meet all specifications that we would need for the police and the fire department. And I don't have equipment that would be able to maintain the road. I mean, I have a 240 Massey Ferguson with a backhoe on the back, and I can move a couple of stones and move some stumps, but to take care of the road would be, I mean, just foolish.
right.
So I need to do, and be in compliance with whatever you people need to have me do. Now, we went out today at your request, and I reluctantly have to admit that when Peter Mellon was doing the survey, he had marked at the very corner, which we talked about, and I went out shortly thereafter, and there it was, just as plain as day, and it had little signatures on it and Peter Mellon's name. You wanted me to go out and measure from that point up to where our driveway is going to be, or where we went through the wall. And I could not find the marker. I am ashamed to say that. I don't know if when they finish the surveys, they pound that down in so people can't move it, and they have to go back with a metal detector to find it. And it said, for your benefit, it does say on the print that there is a drill hole in the rock.
Which you found.
We found. It's painted red. It says 14.5 feet back, and we went in a circle like this. I took a rake and raked it, and I cannot find it. So I'm gonna have to get a metal detector if we need to do that. But the distance was
120 feet.
120 feet. And
From the
distance-
start of your property
From
to
the
the end of
start.
your driveway.
Right, well, and we actually went beyond in the hopes that the town could go up and push the snow like they were doing on the other road. And our purpose, and I had also mentioned to you, that we need to find somebody that can do that road and do it properly.
Yeah,
If I can't do that, I'm not gonna do it.
right.
So,
Yeah, cause I was in earlier reviewing some paperwork for the town and signing checks and whatnot. We were reviewing the distances on the roadway, and from the last house that is on that property, his frontage is 300 feet, 310 feet. The next lot's 310. And on yours, it looks like your driveway, Lean had originally wrote down 376, but if you're telling us 125 feet, there's, somewhere between 700 and 800 feet of roadway that would need to be upgraded, to the town standards to try and make that workable, so.
there may be some confusion regarding the roadway that was created back in the early 70s. When we purchased this,
Yeah.
we went out and I was cutting wood for the wood stove at the house.
Yeah.
And we built a road. And that's the road that's further down, that goes up the hill like this.
Yeah.
Where the markers were just in, based on that first acreage,
Yeah.
where the house would be, they set up there and cleared that area for the house. So now there's an area that's gotta be 200 or 300 feet closer.
Yeah, so that's 125 foot.
That's
Yeah.
125.
Okay,
There's boulders in the driveway of it, so
Yeah.
nobody can go in.
so the reason I wanted Donna to make sure you had that information, so you could understand that, most of the towns, that we have now, when they build a house on a class 6 road, we've had them upgraded to a town class 5 standard dirt road. So the road stays dirt, but there's certain widths that go with that, with certain shoulders. There's certain thickness of gravel and then crushed gravel on top of that.
So what is the road up to Mike's now?
The road up to Mike's, well, it's a little bit odd because that road is listed as a class 6, I believe, from Robert Rogers Road. But since he's built there prior to our being selectmen, the town has maintained that road up to his house. Now, there were subdivisions on that road before yours. In the subdivision regulations, they required him to upgrade the road, but because the other lots hadn't been built on, that road's never been upgraded. So, we're in kind of a catch-22, and that's why I said we've gotta kinda review some of this with the town attorney, cause there are approved lots before yours, up to Mike's house, but they've never developed the lot, so they never upgraded the road. So there's subdivided lots on that road that have never been developed. And so there's never been any, you don't have to do it until you apply for a house permit typically. So it's sat there all these years since those subdivisions have done, with no upgrading been done. And I think prior groups got involved, helping Mike out plowing in the winter and maybe done some maintenance. And the town's probably been in the wrong by doing that, because after doing it for so many years, we probably have some obligations that we have to look into with our town attorney. So, we haven't really crossed that bridge because we haven't needed to, but now that you wanna build beyond that, we kinda have to follow all the steps and procedures on that. So it makes it a little bit grayer, in other words.
As I have explained over and over and over again, when we came out here to purchase this land, Mel Clark owned our parcel of land.
Yeah.
I worked with him at Derby's department store and prior to my getting my degree at Keene State.
Yeah.
He had 2 boys in college and wanted to sell that piece of land.
Mhm.
So I came out and he told me that there was a farm at the far end. He said, "Get down and look at that if you want." So we went out and everybody told me, "You're gonna pay $2,000 for a woodlot? You've gotta be out of your mind." Man, this is the late '60s.
Right,
And we went out and I looked at it, and beautiful piece of land. And we took a road out further, and questions going through my mind, do I wanna buy this, do I wanna make this, we were just starting out.
right,
And I went up to the Stone farm, and there's Jim Stone on his tractor. He and I sat down and talked for too long,
yeah,
and I just fell in love with the man.
yeah,
And I decided I wanted to buy it. And he was instrumental in talking me into buying it and offered to help me build the house. So a few years later, here we are now. We moved to Gold Street because I was in retail and never knew where I was gonna be located, and I didn't have a choice.
Right.
So, Gold Street in Manchester, if you're familiar with it, is
Yeah.
where the largest Walmart in New England is now located.
right,
I can hit a baseball and hit Walmart from my house.
yeah,
9,000 cars a day go by our house as of prior to Walmart.
right,
So, we wanna get out, we wanna find a little serenity and peace for whatever time I have left.
right, I hear you.
But if the situation is such that this can't be done, we just had Miss Elsa come out and look at our place in Windsor, and she's pretty optimistic that we can sell it and pretty quick. But again, we just don't know.
Yeah,
You know, when you find out that it's gonna cost you, Jeff said, $30 to $45 a foot to have somebody come in and do the road.
yeah,
And it was last year or the year before, $22 a foot to have electricity put in,
right,
$20,000 for a septic, $10,000 for a well, we're talking some serious money.
And the current use penalty as well,
And
And the current is.
and the building permit itself, which is not the biggest impact, but it's still there.
It's still there,
right.
so we're just,
And by any means, we don't wanna, we don't wanna scare you away from using land you bought many years ago, but we just wanna tell you that there's quite a few steps nowadays to go through to allow somebody to build that far down on a class 6 road. And it's pretty costly, and we wanna be upfront with you as we can on it, because as you know, building that road and doing it to the proper, so the town can maintain that portion of road. In the area from where Mike's house is, back to Robert Rogers Road, is kind of a gray area, that if you build out there, we've gotta kinda solve that area as well, because the town has been doing some maintenance out there, and wrong, right, or indifferent, we have to solve that issue too, before we go beyond that, so we have to, kinda combine them, and that may be something, whether you build or not, we still have to work on as a town. And the other thing that come up, it's kind of funny how things line up, but your parcel was originally cut off the Kerber parcel, the larger parcel up here, and now they're doing an easement on that property, to work with, conservation on that piece, so that's gonna go into conservation. And they were looking for off-site access, not on 13 otherwise. And we were looking at going through the school parking lot in the back there to have the school kids and the public be able to access it. And so, when I was speaking to conservation a few weeks back, I told them that they should at least approach you people, because your access off of that road, you know, is something that they might like to use too, so.
They did.
They
and
did
I- And
contact
I
you.
responded, and I explained to them that since we have owned the land, we have gone to the elementary school,
Yeah.
and Keller?
Zeller,
Zeller.
Bill Zeller, yep.
Was the principal at the time, and he had asked if they could use the land. And I said, if you'll just write me out a waiver of liability, the land is yours, do what you
Mhm.
need to. And they had cross-country skiing on it, and I don't know what else, but,
Yep.
and I didn't care, because that's what we had the land for.
Right, right.
And I explained this to the conservation, I don't wanna sell it.
Yep,
I wanna maintain this, and if something, some unforeseen event comes up, and such an event happened in the late eighties, we got a phone call, and the guy wanted to buy my land. And I said, how many acres? And I said, based on 5-acre lots. He said, that's $230,000. He wanted to buy it. And I paid $2,000 for it.
right,
Does land get valuable or what?
yeah,
But even at that, I had no desire.
yeah,
But by the same token, who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, and
right.
none of us do. So if I could become a resident of Dunbarton and build a house up there, that would be the cat's whistle. I could die real happy.
Right. So I guess at this point, what we'd like to do, and I'll ask Bob to back me up on this or whatnot, as a fellow selectman, we have one selectman missing tonight, but we can update him on it, but what we'd like to do is send the information we have. I think we have your distances down far enough, we have the information on the previous subdivisions, and we'd like to give this to our town attorney to have him look at it, decipher it, and let us know the best way he thinks that we should proceed with it. Cause we don't wanna be overly stringent with you, but we wanna protect the town's liabilities as well.
And additionally, you just got a copy of what the policy is, saying you haven't even had a chance to really digest it, so.
And I think that policy was made, we have quite a few dirt roads that were discontinued, or not discontinued, but non-used. So they turn over to a class 6 road once the town doesn't maintain them for a number of years.
5 years.
5 years. So, once they become a class 6 road, we had people asking to build on them all over, and we were signing those releases as different select boards were in place. And then they became quite a ways out there, and there starts being some liability with the town, with fire departments and being able to get to them and access in emergencies, and so even though they had those waivers in place, we still were having to upgrade the roads. But it seemed to vary on the different select groups, and we're trying to stay at a different standard now if we can, to try and make it even throughout the town for everybody.
Yep.
Okay, so I think, we'll proceed in that direction, and then, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be that quick, but as soon as we hear back from the town attorney after this, we'll call you back in and have you come in and meet with us, and we'll kinda go through it together.
Super,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
This gives us a better idea of what you were looking for as
So that
well.
was 100 and, how many feet?
125.
125?
And could you put a note on there that we'll need the turnaround past,
The what?
turnaround past that?
Turnaround, okay.
So it'd be 125 plus whatever turnaround. It'll be beyond their driveway.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll be in touch, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Next.
One done for tonight. Next one on the agenda. We've got a couple of grants here. And they're for Homeland Security Grants 2019 Radio Programming Grant that we'd like to sign off and accept.
One for PD and one for fire department.
Yeah. These are all set to go in. See you,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yep,
Goodbye.
just need selectman's signature and motion to accept them.
Okay. Bob, you wanna make a motion on these?
Okay, and let's see what I have here. Make a motion to accept a grant from the state of New Hampshire Department of Safety, Homeland Security for the reprogramming of the fire and EMS radios. It's no cost to the town, and it looks like there's a,
A separate one for the police department.
yeah, and I can't quite make with that.
Yeah, I added it in the last minute, it's the PD was able to complete their application as well. So it's, fire, EMS radios, and bid police
And
department.
police department. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second Bob's motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I guess I gotta say the aye too.
Does this just require yours?
Yeah, I think just a single signature
Oh,
on there.
good.
Yep,
You
Did
get off
you sign
easy on
every
that one.
page?
Just two, I think, were
just two, they were
highlighted.
flagged.
No.
All right, that's it.
You
for
get
there.
away with it cheap, wait till Mike points out, you only have to sign 2 pages.
Well, maybe I didn't. Here's the other half.
His is a little bit different because there's, an operator radio on private from
Yep.
Lou Marcoux. Whereas the police department aren't authorized to have private vehicles with radios, so it's strictly the, fleet that we have for the police department.
You check and see that I had the date on there. When- How are you, Jennifer?
Yeah, the date, he typed the date in on this piece. Yeah, we're all set there.
As a kid around, say motion to adjourn.
I'd like to give this package back to Lean, so we'll have that on
Yeah.
file.
Yeah, and I'll have to scan some of that for the, attorney.
Jennifer, just to get you up to date, we're in the town business section, the mailbox items. So. The town's got a notice here, public service is increasing their rates. They seem to discuss the residential rates on here, not so much the commercial rate, but it's easy to see that it is gonna go up, which I think we had some notice of this, and it's a good idea that we're getting our solar panels in to offset this increase.
Sign that one. Go ahead.
I thought you did too. Next thing in the mailbox items, Bob had, the town of Northwood, New Hampshire, had a posting for transfer station part-time attendant. They listed $9.99 an hour to $15.10 per hour. So it looks like that our part-time transfer station, is on the upper side of that for our new hires, and
Cause the other one says 15 with qualifications.
yeah, depending on qualifications.
Yeah, we're just under 13.
The next thing on the mailbox item is, we have an approval here to put the Bow Youth Football Program sign in place out here. We had approved it already, and they were asking us to,
I think this
The
has been
location is,
common practice for these, groups, and because it involves the rec committee, and they've done it for the last 2 years. He said he would only have it up for about 15 days, just gave him approval to go ahead with that.
okay, the next item on here is the Board of Selectmen Planning and Building and Zoning, list of updates in the town. There's several items on here to go through, but I think we've looked at it, and, it's nice to have this update to follow up on what's going on within the town. We have one new building permit, it says, this month.
Mhm.
Okay, and the last thing I have in the mailbox items is, there's a consensus jobs for the 2020 census. And, they're asking if they would put signs up around town.
It's temporary employment for those looking for some,
I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Bob, because
Yeah, I thought we had already said no, cause they the newspaper at the store that they
Yeah.
can put it up at. I'm sure they could probably get, permission from Heavens, you know, where the gas pumps are, if they wanna do that, so it doesn't involve, you know, town property, cause there's enough. I know it's only a few businesses, but they also have the paper, it's, you know, the Monitor or the Leader that they can put it in, cause they're gonna advertise it anyways.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, Bob's right on that, instead of having a bunch of them around the town properties. One thing we could do is from our bulletin board, if they had a smaller sign, we could put that up, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yep, no on that, but notice for the board,
Yeah.
and then let them know about the businesses.
Okay, that's all I have for, mailbox items. Now, I
You know,
guess,
the other thing too is, at the time, if they want, you can put it on Hot Topics,
It's up to you, I don't
you
know.
know?
I don't have any problem with Hot
You
Topics,
know,
that,
that way there's somebody in town sees it and they wanna jump on the opportunity, although,
So electronically, basically, and
Yeah.
on a smaller scale, yep, okay.
yeah, and I don't mind it being on our bulletin board there, but then we can maintain that, take it down after it's been there for a period of time.
Okay. And I can do
I
that.
hate to chase them to have them signs picked up in the fall or whatever else. Okay, mailbox items are done, I guess we'll go back to public comment. Fred, do you have anything?
Yeah, we're due to perambulate the town line with the town of Bow this year,
Yep.
and I'm not sure if we have heard anything back from Bow or anything on that.
Would you like us to touch base with them, or do you normally do that? for
Well,
them?
I usually go through Lane,
Okay.
she usually contacts the town administrator over there, so.
Okay,
So you want me to send out a notice? Do you have, can I just give them you as a
Sure,
contact?
that's
Okay.
fine. I think that's what you did last time.
Yeah, I did, for the other towns.
Just to clarify for the minutes, can I just ask you to restate what that was regarding?
Preambulation, which is a boundary survey of, or verification of,
Right,
Town bounds.
boundary
yeah.
between the two towns.
Thank you.
Leo?
So I was here for, the Arts on the Common,
Yep.
and walking around helping clean up and everything at the end of the day, or the second day. And I went out and looked at the, bandstand again, which I do every year anyways, and it seemed to me that you guys, the selectmen accepted the monies to repair that,
We did.
and they're still pretty bad. The 3 columns are cracked really, one's really bad.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the outlets probably have to be checked because, so nobody gets, electrocuted in there, because some of those a couple of those look pretty bad. But I mean, probably a good time of year to get a few people in and give a price to change those 3 columns, They've changed 3 already,
Leo, just update me, what are those made out of, those columns?
fiberglass,
They were, and they're splitting still?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. But again, we could have been the material itself, I don't know, we don't know what happened there. But 3 of them were replaced a few years back, new columns, and we had no problems with those since.
So what did you replace them with, a 2-piece,
Yes,
and those seem to be working well?
yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I look at them every year and they haven't cracked at all, so.
Okay.
And Leo, you don't remember the manufacturer of the replacement ones, do you?
Oh, no, I do not. I think,
I think I've got the book, the binder that Donna gave us.
I was just gonna say, Donna and Gail had all that information, and I think Donna turned all that information over to you guys.
Yeah.
But, it'd be good you could get a few, because they were trying to figure out what to do about it, and I kept, sending them to talk to you guys, because you can put it out for prices, whereas they don't know anyone, or they had no way of getting contractors involved, So, therefore, you guys have it now, and you have that money, and it'd be good if those could be fixed before something happens, I know those are just, they're not structural.
No, they're not.
No, they're not structural,
That's the
but
Gosling.
as I said,
Leave that to me.
therefore you also have the electrical outlets in there, and so I don't know, you know, if somebody could get hurt with that, I don't know. And
Yeah.
it may as well be repaired anyway.
No, I agree with you, I think,
And I'm not saying they have to be
With that.
changed, maybe they can be repaired, I don't know, you know?
we had a real good contractor come and look at the roof repair, that we're gonna hopefully talk about tonight on the, safety
Yeah,
complex,
right,
police
uh-huh.
and fire.
Yep.
And he'd be a great suggestion, we could use him to repair those posts, that's right down his alley.
Yeah, right?
So,
Okay.
I'll have Lean get the information out, we'll get it to him, and we'll get a request on that right off.
Yeah, right, because I mean, it's a minor thing, as far as, it's not a big project.
It's a perfect time of
But
year
it's,
though.
yeah, right, and it'd be nice to get it fixed, you know?
If we could get that on the books, it'd be a great time to get that out of the way, so I'll,
Yeah, it's a little thing off the list, you know?
And actually, she's got a few people that she could reach out
Yeah.
to too, so she just gets some quotes, you
well,
know.
we have that other, guy that's doing some
Yeah.
work down
Yeah.
the transfer station, so. She's got a couple of,
Yeah,
actually, the other guy that fixed the lock over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm
She's
saying.
got three
She's
guys,
got a
so,
few
yeah.
people
Yeah.
that she can
But
just
that-
get quotes
I
from.
guess that was the
SAT.
point to begin with, you know, getting you guys to accept the responsibility was because you have the capability of getting contractors
Right.
a lot more than they did, you know, so.
No, I appreciate you keeping us up to,
Yeah, I
You know,
just figured it's one of those things that slipped by, that's all.
you know, and I was there that day too, but they were playing music on it,
Yeah.
I didn't go up and look at it
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it was, you
yeah.
know, a lot
Yeah,
of
but
activity.
I knew about it, that's why
Right.
I do check every year, whenever I'm over there, I take a look at things, you
Yeah.
know, and I just happened to notice them again, I was like, oh yeah, I remember you guys discussed having
Yeah.
it fixed. But again, it's such a minor thing, and you had other things that slipped through, so, you know, just,
Leo, I don't know if you saw the meeting, but we did, change 25 miles an hour.
I did watch, sure, yeah, I watched. I have to watch, you know what I mean, how am I gonna expect other people to watch if I don't watch it?
Yeah, the good thing now is at least we can satisfy the bid, you know, the requirements for getting estimates or whatever, because, you know, you got a few people you can
Yeah.
reach out.
Right,
So back to your point about the speed limit. So I watched the meeting, and if I remember, you guys decided to just do Tenny Hill for now.
yeah, we
Well,
did.
no one told Jeff.
Oh, nobody told Jeff
I was
yet?
just talking to Jeff about it, and he's gotta order the signs. I said, you might wanna make sure you know how many to order,
Yeah.
because you might have a lot at the yard there, you know?
The reason we didn't, and Dave and I were in consensus, was there might be other roads that people live on
Yeah.
that are wide enough, and they
Yeah.
think that that's
Well, no,
too slow.
yeah, no, I understand. I
But
listened to your.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
that,
You know, but my point is, he wasn't aware.
well,
He
he
was
should be
gonna get 'em
watching
all.
YouTube.
Right,
He was gonna get them all. Yeah,
Oh, I told him.
he didn't know tonight, I was just talking to him. He said he was told by Mike all of them, so he was gonna do them all, and I said, well, you might wanna make sure before you have them
tried
all
to
at
send him
the.
an email, but didn't get him.
I said, you'll have them all in
Should
the
be
yard out
watching
there, you
YouTube,
know?
though.
Oh, you did it big font for me, good.
Well, I had to condense it and clean it up, it was like on 3 pages, but we got it.
Okay, we did have a carpenter send over a, repair request, which we just received, Bob and I haven't read it yet. But, it's Goslin Carpentry to repair the fire station police building where the two buildings meet. I thought it was
Huh.
where the addition of the police station met the fire
Yeah,
station.
that's what I thought.
That's not where it is. In going to the site with Goslin Carpentry and John and I and getting up on the roof, it's where the fire department old section tees off with the new section, so it's right on the fire department's area.
Oh.
And it leaks down on a junction box.
Yeah, right, yeah, right.
Not onto the main electrical
Oh,
panel, but on a
okay.
junction box. So, I think we've located it and we went over the repair, and it seems fairly minor if it works.
How is he gonna address it?
What we're gonna have to do is remove some of the metal
Yeah.
roofing,
Yeah,
bituatain the entire surface, and reapply the metal down and add a few new pieces of flashing and valley flashing. And if that doesn't work, the valley comes down and then goes straight. If that doesn't work, he's gonna extend the valley down to come out away from that.
So is that
corner.
Tyler or Mark?
It was Tyler,
Okay.
so. So the quote here, done today, repair metal roof with new metal flashing and grace, ice and water shield. Fix drywall ceiling and repaint. Metal roofing and flashing was 300, miscellaneous glues and ice water was 100, joint compounded paint was 100. 2 days, 2 guys, labor 2,000, profit and overhead. Total job was 2875. And I'll leave that to Bob. And I don't care if you wanna wait for Mike to approve, or if you wanna do it tonight, whatever you decide.
Well, you know, we might as well get it done, because it's been a constant pain for John.
It'd be
with
nice
the
to get
water
a stretch
coming
of
in.
nice days to do the work too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the way the weather's been going, you know, we're gonna get into a period, wet weather
Yeah.
again.
Sounds like you guys have had a hard time anyways with that thing. 'cause
And you know what, that's
Everybody kept-
fairly
3 and 4.
reasonable.
Everybody kept
you
saying
know?
you have to do the whole thing over again,
Right.
reframe, you know,
Yeah.
this sounds like a pretty simple
Well,
solution.
this was you know, we got guys that were too big for the job.
Yeah,
They wanted to take the whole roof and redo it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then some people wanted to put a whole new rubber roof on there. We have a small isolated problem,
Yeah, yeah,
and when that roof gets redone, probably the building will get redone, it won't be a small,
yeah, right.
you know, thing, so to get it taken care of. So
Yeah.
Bob, pull that back and I think make a motion and I'll,
Who's this one, Dawson Carpentry?
yeah.
Make a motion to approve, Dawson Carpentry for the repair to the fire station roofs. The metal roofing and flashing,
Just give them a total, I
and
think.
the total is 2875.
I'll second Bob's motion. We let him know that that's been approved and he
I
can
say
schedule.
aye.
All, yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What was that?
No, I just told him, I said aye.
Oh, okay.
There's
So,
only 2 of us, I keep forgetting.
I
We're all in
know, I know
favor.
it's redundant, but it's
yeah, the vote.
a vote that you have to take.
All right, before I bring it back to the board, any other public comment? Okay, bringing it back to the board, Bob?
I don't have anything tonight.
Oh, Bob, you're trying to make it quick.
I
Our
do
town
have a-
administrator?
I don't have anything for the board, but the tax collector did want 5 minutes in non-public with the
Oh,
board.
okay, well, we'll schedule that.
She's-
Bob, do you wanna do the,
Okay, let's see, what is it? Is it over here? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, non-public. Motion to go into non-public per RSA 91, colon, A, capital A, dash 3, Roman numeral 2, and that's a D.
Correct.
At, what time is it?
I'll second Bob's motion.
At
7:48.
7:48.
All in favor?
Martell says yes.
No, it says yes.
Okay.
Let's take a 2-minute recess to
Yeah.
let it real clear.
She must wanna talk to you about my discount.
Yeah.
And
I wanna catch